Before I begin the main video, I'm Glaswegian, so I'll be trying to speak in a way that people can understand me. Let's see how this goes. I can only date so much until it gets to the point of me having no personality, which I don't really have anyway. Also, before the video begins, I want to mention that I absolutely love this game. I loved it when it came out and I still love it today. When I was a wee guy, my dad showed me the Warriors film, which is based off of the 1965 novel of the same name, and I thought it was brilliant as well as kinda creepy. It has a dark and eerie atmosphere and its comic book style was enough to keep me engrossed, but still terrified. Years later, I was really excited when I read in a PlayStation magazine that Rockstar, of all people, Rockstar Toronto to be specific, were turning it into a game. I was buzzing. What's the Warriors about? It's basically about a gang called the Warriors. That's it. Kidding on. I don't want to spoil anything, and although the film is quite old now, I still don't want to give anything away for people that haven't seen it yet, as I'll be explaining the story along the way by playing through the game with added commentary in a way that's quite different to any other video that I've seen. The game is both a prequel and adaptation to the film, giving a backstory of what happens leading up to where the film takes off and continuing on with the events seen during it. Also, there's a good chance people already know about the film and the game, and that's why they're watching this video in the first place, if anybody watches this video. There's too much to explain about why I love this game. The fighting, the violence, that probably makes me sound like a head case. The graphics at the time, the atmosphere as the city truly feels alive, and the fact that most of the original actors returned to do the voiceovers. The game may feel a bit dated now, but overall, it's a game I believe everybody should experience. Plus it has a multiplayer rumble and story mode, which can be enjoyed through SharePlay these days. I've never made a gaming video before, but I thought, why not? Let's see how this goes. Anyway, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you enjoyed my first video, and if you do, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it will help the channel out. So, the story takes place before the film starts with the leader, also known as the Warlord, who is Cleon and Vermin. They're both discussing the importance of Rembrandt's fighting abilities. He's good at spray painting W's, but but can he brawl? Who is Rembrandt? It's him, the kind of guy you wouldn't with. Look at that walk and that face. Cleon is looking to be impressed. Look at this as a physical interview for Rembrandt. Ah, so this is how the Warriors practice their fighting skills. On homeless people? Listen, this wasn't my idea, lads. I batter some poor has-been homeless guy absolutely senseless, and then he's rewarded.
Rudy's had enough. Get him out of here and give him his booze.
A bottle of Budweiser. Some of the other hobos get a whiff of booze from their pal who's just been beaten worse than my current life situation and decide to sign themselves up for a kicking. I'm kidding on, Cleon forces him to do it. Duh. This guy looks like he's carrying 10 different types of diseases, 5 of them still not discovered yet. I'm sure I heard one of them say that he played tonsil tennis with my mother, and so I snap a bat over his head quite nicely if I do say so myself.
It's all good fun in the end, because the homeless really are a bunch of banter bandits.
Come on, young buck. I'd like to see you do me in.
I then test my skills against people who can fight back, because everybody knows that when you're joining a gang, it's important to prove that you alone can battle the living daylights out of every member of that gang single-handedly. What the hell does that have to say about the rest of the members? Who are they? How the hell did the rest of them enter when they started? Oh aye. Rembrandt proves he can fight as he just bopped most of the Warriors' less known members.
Alright, that's enough! Looks like you can handle yourself out there, young blood. Let's go try on your new colors.
He's rewarded his colours, but he's in pretty bad shape. Rembrandt is took out into the dark world of Coney Island by Vermin to see what a day in the life of being a nice Warriors gang member is like, and to fix himself up. I'm asked to smash into a gift shop, so I punch my way through the door. Kidding on, I fly through the window, taking Vermin with me. Nah, I'm joking, I actually punch my way through because Rembrandt's a heavy tank. He then asks me to steal a car radio. Vermin, you look like the kind of guy who flushes the toilet halfway through pissing. I punch Vermin for good measure before taking the car radio to show him I don't take crap from anybody. Look how threatening Rembrandt is. He looks as hard as a 3-month-old kitten. Vermin then nicely says,
Good. Now you see that guy over there? I want you to go mug that sucker.
Rembrandt's like, I thought you would never ask. Yes, this is the reason I joined this gang. Somebody's standing outside a pizza place. They overhear Vermin shouting about it, and I walk over as a little joke, and I'm like, nah, I'm only kidding on, mate, don't worry about it, I'll grab some other helpless bat. Come here, you.
What do you got for me? Hey, Vermin, I got everything you said.
Holy shit, that's a heavy score. You got some pretty slick skills, kid.
Hey, we gonna go see that dealer now or what?
I love how Vermin sounds so down to earth and comes across like such a nice, genuine guy, even though he's just advocated the mugging of somebody's dad. I suppose the Warriors are good bad guys. Either that, or Vermin is just utter vermin. That's the thing about the Warriors. They will protect their turf at any cost, but you have to accept that every so often they'll rob and steal from their own people to make sure that they themselves are financially stable. I follow Vermin and he shows me how to climb a fence. It makes sense that Rembrandt's never done this before, as he's never had a childhood because he grew up glued to his non-existent mobile. He asks me to jump through a window. This is getting embarrassing now. As if I've never jumped through a window before. Rembrandt is like, aye, sound, what, jump through it like this? Vermin's like, what the hell are you doing? Rembrandt's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me there, I don't know what happened there. Vermin's like, are you sure you're alright? And Rembrandt's like, aye, I think I've just caved my skull in a wee bit, but I should be fine. Also, some of my own gang members battered me slightly stupid earlier, but it's all good, man, it's all good. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. Oh, what am I doing? Who is this guy, man? Now, off to find some drugs. Because when you're in pain and trying to forget the fact that you've just mugged somebody's dad, battered a bunch of hobos, punched a glass door in, stole somebody's radio by smashing a car window using your already sore fist, and threw yourself through 3 windows, it just seems like the next best thing to do in order to take your mind off things. Or in fact, what you could do, Rembrandt, instead of falling down that path is, come back to mine and we can listen to Motown and feel sorry about all the things we've done wrong in our life, whilst high on drugs. Kidding on, medical assistance is not needed with the Warriors because they're hard as nails. All that is needed is some pure cocaine, I mean flash.
You looking to dose?
Rembrandt hits a bad one because he's never took drugs before. Drugs definitely help take the edge off of a hard day of vandalising the city and mugging poor innocent people who have the misfortune of staying in Coney Island in the first place. We head back and Vermin bigs up Rembrandt.
You should have seen this kid. He's got some skills, man.
Good, because I want him out piecing, building our rep.
No problem, Warlord. I'll take the Warriors all city. There won't be anybody in New York who doesn't know this game.
Don't get ahead of yourself, young.
You're right, Rembrandt. Calm down. The drugs are getting to your head. You think because you've mugged somebody, you're a hard man all of a sudden? Cocaine, I mean flash, is a hell of a drug. It makes an honest liar out of you when you become a frequent user of the famous white powder. What does it mean to say somebody's an honest liar? I can't really be bothered explaining it. Anyway, a brick meets the hideout's window, and some of the scummiest few faces I've ever seen start hauling ass. This is the Destroyers, the Warriors' rival gang. In order to take revenge, we decide to quickly assemble the rest of the Conrads. The white Cleon runs down the stairs like, aye, you better run. We are then introduced to the tough, perverted, womanising and yet lovable rogue that is Ajax. We then come across Snow and Cowboy who seem to have themselves in a bit of a sticky situation. They are fighting off some police. Cowboy gives a swift right hook to what can now be described as a glass jaw in one of the officers, and Snow lands a sexy uppercut which is quite impressive and sends the copper's hat flying off his head. But not quite as impressive as the hat landing back on his head. But unfortunately, or fortunately in my case, the police get the better of these two legends and they get arrested. Because if it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't know how to uncuff somebody, as they lie there flapping about like fish out of water. The police decide to just leave them lying there. Anybody with some basic level of fitness would find a way to get up and run as soon as they left. Police brutality at its finest. Leave gang members handcuffed to the flare in order for other gang members to come along and kill them. The city cleans up itself. It's the perfect balance. Either that or the dad that you mugged earlier spots you helplessly cuffed to the flare and proceeds to unzip his trousers with a menacing smile on his face as he starts dancing towards you, whistling the Benny Hill theme tune. No! I'll give you a few moments to wipe that image out of your mind. I decide to leave them behind because if they are dumb enough to get caught off the boys in blue, they're no good to be part of the Fearful Warriors. Nah, I'm kidding on. I do some meditation and appreciate being in the moment for a few minutes first, because stillness is key to great gang membership skills. Any thoughts that arise that don't include the idea of mugging, stealing and beating people to a pulp are really not worth listening to. They start shouting, "What the hell are you doing? Help us, FS." I'm like, "Aye, alright, calm down lads." So I then free them and we continue to assemble the troops. On the way there, a homeless guy shouts, "She turned the Waynes against us." So I decided to turn my fist against them. We then come across Fox. Not an actual Fox, but a guy in his late 20s, early 30s who calls himself Fox because it's cool as shit. Whenever you want to be taken seriously in life, it's important to know that it's basically a life hack to know the true value of naming yourself after an animal. Something like human. Anyway, like an actual fox, Fox is spotted crawling about bin areas trying to avoid the fuzz. I'm not saying foxes hide for the police, but this particular fox does, probably because he's running about mugging people's grannies. Can you imagine somebody coming home saying, "I was mugged by a fox"? It wouldn't make sense, so don't even think about it. I tell the rest of the warriors to stay where they are and they do as I say, because I'm in charge.
Yo, hold up!
See, I told you, I wouldn't lie about something like that. I distract the police by throwing a bottle and Fox runs free. We teach the police a lesson because nobody with the warriors. I punch Cowboy and take his hat because I'm the warlord and I can do what I want.
Oh man, come on, give it back!
Plus it's kinda cold out here because we made the poor decision to have vests as our main outfit. Your cowboy days are over, cowboy. It's the days of scheme fighting, get with the times, young blood. We continue on our march to find the rest of the ladsters. I break into a store and unlock the back gate first try, and fast as hell. Kidding on, I lied. So technically, I've told the truth, because I admitted I was lying. That's the easiest way out. If I ever suspect that somebody has caught onto my bull, I'll quickly just admit that I'm lying, to make out as though I was planning on telling you the truth the whole time, by admitting I was lying. I'm kidding you on, that's a lie. Now you know what an honest liar is, or what a liar that pretends to be honest is. Coaches and Swan have an amazing introduction. Swan, you're amazing. Coaches, I love your style. We come across the long-awaited gaggle of scum that is the Destroyers. Dressed in blue, like the police gang we met earlier, minus the batons. But wait a second. If it wasn't for the Destroyers smashing our hideout window, then a woman would have been taken advantage of, Fox, Cowboy and Snow would have been cuffed, and Swan and Coaches would most likely have been murdered. We should really be thanking these guys. Anyway, we decide to smash their heads in, or sorry, we decide to destroy the Destroyers. A successful victory as the warriors can head back to their trashy hideout and brag about how each person got whatever scars they now have and how they basically murdered another grown man who has no life and fights in a gang at the tender age of 35. Rembrandt's like,
Those lame ass toys.
"Aye alright Rembrandt, calm down. In fact, Rembrandt, since you're the apprentice, you can fix the window." Word gets back to the Destroyer's warlord as they brag about putting up a good fight, even though we heavy murdered them. So Virgil sends his sidekick out to find some skirt and buttfash for the boys in order to party on down, and the sidekick's the buffest looking heroin addict I've ever seen. He's an absolute tank. He's definitely the kind of person who dips his toast in vinegar. He looks like the kind of person who, well, he looks like a person kinda. He watches you whilst you sleep. I want to say that this game might look dated or feel dated compared to modern day controls, but I like to look at this the way I look at watching older films. Once you put all that judgment aside, you'll be immersed in one of the best games ever made. Probably my favourite game of all time and soon to be one of your own. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Kidding on. If you did dig this video, then leave a like, comment down the bottom and subscribe for more videos. This would help motivate me to continue with this game as a kind of a video series, because if you don't, this guy will get you in your dreams tonight.